If you've been following the Fire Emblem subreddit lately, you know there's been a lot of discussion about efficient play and how it should be measured or not measured. One proposed metric for measuring the efficiency of different strategies was expected turn count, or ETC, which is essentially a formula that indicates how efficient a strategy is by taking its turn count and penalizing it by how many unreliable attacks you make. Well, I figure the only way to know how I feel about this metric for efficiency is trying to do a run where I attempt to get decent ETCs. To that end, I decided to play the one Fire Emblem game that I haven't yet, Fire Emblem 3 Book 1, and aim to see how efficient I could make my first playthrough. I'll be documenting it here. I picked FE3 Book 1 for a few reasons. First, I thought it would be fun to do a game I haven't played before and see how efficient I could make my playthrough. Since I've played the other Marth games, I thought this would be a fun way to spice this playthrough up. Additionally, FE3 Book 1 is very simple. There's no rescuing, there's no reclassing, every map is Cs, and warp is infinite range. This means the turn floor for most maps is easy to figure out. If you aren't warping, it's just how many turns it takes Marth to walk to the throne, and if you are warping, it's usually just one. This is a helpful starting point for figuring out the best strategy for each map. A few things to note before we dive in. First, I'm sure that these won't always be the most efficient strategies possible. As I said, it's my first time playing the game, so the goal here is simply to see how efficient I can make my run, and what I can learn by doing so, although I hope some of my strategies may have some merit. Second, I'm not doing any in-map rigging, so I'm aiming for good ETCs with the tools I have available. If I get good level ups, great. If I don't, that's fine too. You'll also notice that while I'll be keeping a running tally of total turn count for the run, I will not be totaling the ETCs. ETC to me seems most appropriate for gauging efficiency of maps on an individual basis, so that's how I'll be using it. Here's the ETC formula I'm using. Any miss or enemy crit or hit that sets us back a turn will be treated as a chance of reset for the purposes of this run. The formula might look a little intimidating at first, but you'll get to see an example of it at the end of the first map, and I think that will make it more clear. I think all of my math is correct, but please correct me if I made a mistake. I've never done ETC math before. For each map, I'm going to walk through my strategy, and on maps where the explanation is way shorter than the map itself, I'll spend some time talking about the units and mechanics in FE3, since I suspect this is a game many people haven't played. Also, I'm doing full recruitment, even if it costs turns. If you want to follow along with the run as it gets done, I have a running thread in my Discord server, which you'll find linked in the video description. So without further ado, let's get on to map 1. So commenting on this playthrough with me will be Akira. Hi, Akira.
Hello.
Akira, you've actually played this game, right?
Yeah, I have. FE3 was my first experience with Arcanea, so when I started playing this game, I was like, well, I could just play Book 2, but I don't actually know the plot of Book 1, so I'd probably play Book 1 first.
Excellent, excellent. So you're going to have a little more insight on what's going to happen in the future chapters than me. But let's go ahead and dive right into Chapter 1. Oh, I'm gonna mute this. There we go. So the first thing that happens on this map is Sita trades for an Iron Lance, and she also trades her Slim Lance to Jagan for the Silver Lance. The reason this happens, Sita needs to make an attack on turn 2, and it's only a 95% with the Silver Lance, but it's 100 with the Iron. The reason she gets the silver and Jagan gets the slim is Jagan has 8 base speed, which is enough to double the pirates, but only with the Slim Lance, which lowers their health enough that Gordon and Abel can finish off any pirate that he hits. If he uses the Iron Lance, for example, only Kane can finish off the enemies with an Iron Lance. Sita gets the silver because Sita can double the boss. So... whereas Jagan can't. And that's pretty much going to be, like, the determination of who gets the Silver Lance. If Sita can double the boss, she'll get it. If neither of them can double the boss, Jagan will get it. At least up until we get a better boss killer.
Yep, that will make sense.
The boss kill will eventually go to Sita, who just needs to hit 2 of 5 attacks against the boss to kill him. One annoying thing about Jagan having the Slim Lance is it gives him 15 crit. Which you'll see he crit 2 enemies here, which is annoying. The strategy does not rely on crits. Anytime I get one, you're gonna see me move a unit and do nothing with them to represent what I would have done had Jagan not crit. Jagan also gets a Vulnerary here because he can only take 7 hits from the pirates without dying. But he needs to fight more than 7 pirates. So he gets the Vulnerary to use next turn. He could also just dodge a pirate. He's pretty likely to. It's like 8 or 9 50% attacks. But
yeah, he probably dodges a couple of them at some point. Yeah.
But we can make it guaranteed by just using a Vulnerary. One important thing to note that's going to become relevant next turn, Sita and Marth have a support. Supports are hidden in this game, where they give each other plus 10 hit, crit, and avoid, I believe. The most important one is hit. We're going to use that to make sure Marth hits with his rapier next turn instead of having to deal with a 93% hit rate. Let's see. I'm going to pick up the Vulnerary village at the end of this map. I don't pick up the first village, which gives 5,000 gold. Basically just under the assumption that I was going to have more opportunities to get gold later, which turned out to be true.
Yeah, FE3 gives you a lot of gold.
But it means that we can finish one turn faster. But this is the attack where if Marth doesn't have the support, it is not a 100% hit rate. There was also a small sequencing error here that doesn't affect anything, but Jagan's attack... or no, there wasn't, because he uses the Vulnerary. I thought he was going to attack, in which case I should have done that first. But this is the only point of failure in the map besides the boss kill. Gordon is going to attack this archer with a 99% hit rate. And if he misses, then Kane can do it with a javelin for a 74% hit rate. So, very high chance of success, but not quite 100.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much this map. All that's going to happen now is we're going to clear out these enemies, and then Sita's going to go kill the boss. Notably, something I could have done to make the ETC of this map a little better. Sita's going to kill the boss while Marth goes and gets the village. Marth actually has a two-way support with Sita, so she gives him 10 hit and he gives her 10 hit. So I could have made her boss clear slightly more reliable by not getting the village and instead putting Marth in support range. But I didn't do that, so, you know, we deal with the slightly less reliable here. Also, I'm not sure I might use that Vulnerary later in the run, which, if I do, then it is not really an efficiency loss overall. But I'm not sure if I do. We're gonna have to find out.
Do you happen to know, like, how much, like, that cost you in the expected turn count?
So it's 10% hit, so it takes her from 69 to 79. Let me check what her current chance of success is against this boss. Pretty high, because she needs to hit 2 of 5 attacks on 69. I don't have it written down here, but it's pretty high. But it would go a little higher.
It would be, yeah.
So I'm going to put the formula on screen, but the ETC of this map came out to 5.196, with an actual turn count of 5. So the next map is going to be a little more straightforward, because literally every attack except for the boss kill on the next map is also I have Kane throw a javelin at this guy. It doesn't matter if he hits. On this next map, literally every attack is going to be 100% hit. So we'll have some time to talk about the units.
Yeah. I'm surprised that even though you had, like, Kane lob the javelin at that bandit, that you didn't just have, like, people make additional attacks.
So
because they could.
The reason I didn't do that, because normally I would. The reason I didn't is I realized this was actually a re-recording of Chapter 1, because I thought of a way to make it more efficient later.
It happens.
And my first video I accidentally deleted, so I had to re-record it. So I had him throw the javelin, and then I realized, wait, I'm not continuing this save. So let me pull up Chapter 2 here. So like I said, Chapter 2, this one's going to be a little bit more straightforward in terms of the strategy, because like I said, everything's 100% hit on this map, except for the boss kill. Jagan does the boss kill on this one, because neither Sita nor him double the boss, and Jagan actually has notably more hit. I think he has 11 skill, if I remember correctly. Sita has 7 or 8. But we get a bunch of units this chapter that we can discuss. The first one... What?
Ogma's hair?
Yes, and Agma's the most important of them.
Yes, I thought so. I thought it would be.
Agma has 11 skill, so for a while, he's going to have 100% hit using the Iron Sword. He can also use the Steel Sword. His hit rates are usually more in the 90s if he uses the Steel Sword. But Agma also gets a support from Sita, so he can use the Steel Sword with 100% accuracy as long as she's hanging around. He also, this is going to become relevant later, he has a weapon level of, I believe, 7. It's 1 under the Killing Edge, but he has a weapon level growth of 70%, which means once he gains, on average, 1 or 2 levels, he'll be able to use the Killing Edge that we'll be getting soon, which is nice for him.
That is really nice, for sure. Especially since in this game, like, enemies don't have any luck at all, and therefore have no crit negation.
Yes, although up to this point in the run, we're going to go through Chapter 7 today, a crit is never relied upon, except for once. And it's not with a Killing Edge, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The other unit that seems exciting, but really isn't for this particular run, is Barst. Barst has a massive 10 strength. That might not sound big if you're like playing modern Fire Emblem, but here that's 3 higher than our Jagan. So he is by far the strongest member of our team right now. However, his skill is only 6, which isn't as bad as it sounds. That's actually the same as base Marth.
But then it's axes as well.
Yeah, the problem is it's axes. The most accurate axe we have access to right now is the Iron Axe, which is 20 hit less accurate than the Iron Sword and Iron Lance. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
When other units can do, like, enough damage on 100% hit. So sadly, Barst is going to see, like, no combat.
Yeah.
Castor, surprisingly, is the next most relevant unit on this map. He will attack, I think, 2 or 3 times in this run. Mainly just because bows are accurate. He actually has a little less skill than Gordon. You would think they would have good skill, but they don't. Gordon, I believe, has 5. Castor has 4. So their accuracy is all coming from the bows having 100 hit.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very least, like you said, bows are accurate, and the advantage that Castor has over Gordon is that he has an extra point of move.
Yes, he also has 1 or 2 points of strength.
Yeah, that's a good stat to be having more of as well.
So he will get to do a couple attacks before we get bows on a horse soon. We also pick up 2 axe bros here, but they suck. They're just worse than Barst, and Barst isn't good enough, so... I do think this is one of the areas where, like, I think Barst is, like, kind of okay in a casual playthrough. But in this, where we're really indexing on hit rates, it's hard for him to find a place on the team.
Yeah, I mean, FE3 axes in general are a bit of an unfortunate situation. Obviously, this is book 1, but in book 2, where, like, you have literally no axe users, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. The village is skipped on this map. It's another one that just gives gold. But at the end of this map, we actually get a 10,000 gold reward just for finishing the map. So, the only reason to get this village is if we wanted to go shopping right now. But we'll have a chance to go shopping next map.
Yeah, and there's nothing, like, especially good in these stores, I remember.
You are correct. It's just irons and... I mean, they have the 1-2 range weapons. So you can get, like, javies and hand axes, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, javelins and P3 are also not good weapons.
Well, especially because, like, again, in this particular type of run where, like, I will jump through a lot of hoops to not have to throw a javelin. Because javelins have, like, at best, usually low 80 hit rates. So I really don't want to throw one.
Bad accuracy, you can never double with them. Which is something that would increase the reliability of trying to actually hit at least once.
Yeah. We're soon going to get into the only not guaranteed part of this clear, which is Jagan fighting the boss. He has an 86.6% chance of killing him in time for Marth to go seize the throne on turn 4. So I'll put the formula on the screen, but the ETC for this one is 4.618 turns. The actual turn count is going to be 4, and the total is going to be 9. Notably, currently this is an LTC pace, because the turn floor, until we have warp, is just however many turns it takes Marth to walk to the throne.
Yeah.
You're going to see here, I mess up a bit. I'm able to fix it, but I forgot to give Jagan the Silver Lance in preps. So I see. I have to trade it to him here. So that he can fight Gomer. It is kind of funny that Sita can use the Silver Lance.
Yeah, weapon level is like a really weird stat. Like, I kind of like it, and it does mean that you get like some kind of like funny moments where, like, I believe in DSFE, like, you get given a silver sword that Harden just can't use because he doesn't have the weapon rank for it, whereas in FE1 and 3, he does have the weapon rank able to use it.
Yeah, but, well, in this game, you don't get the silver sword to give him. It's just, I mean, you get a silver sword, but it's not in the same way. An enemy just drops it on his map.
I noticed the strength level on Cedar. Does that affect, like, the ETC of any of your later clears, do you think?
It has not yet. One thing you may have also I mean, maybe you didn't, because you've only played FE3 as Arcanea, right?
Yes.
So, in the previous map, that Vulnerar-E village in every other version of Arcanea has risks. Similarly, on this map, Barth makes an attack here that doesn't
There's
matter.
no Daros, right?
Yeah, there's no Daros on this map. The reason Barth made that attack, by the way, at the time, I was on, like, some copium that, like, maybe I could get Barth to do some stuff. So I attacked with him first instead of the numerous units here that guarantee that kill. Because I was like, maybe Barth will do something. Barth isn't going to do anything.
I mean, I guess at the very least you have so many units around that, like, it wouldn't really affect things, because, like, someone should have been able to...
any number of these units could have killed him. Yeah, here we see Agma's 100% hit rates in action.
Yo!
But yeah, no Daros on this map, which is actually nice, because it means Marth can just go right to the throne, and we can ignore these enemies to the right.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, he self-recruits onto Marth, right? But you still have to obviously, like, have him actually stand around.
Yeah. At this point, for the rest of the map, I just kind of, mess around and kill some of these units on the right. But basically, everything relevant to the clear has happened at this point. Oh, I guess I should talk about dismounting. This is the first time I'm doing it. Mounted units can dismount. When they do, they use swords instead of lances, or whatever they were using before. Notably, this actually lets Cain and Abel double a lot more often. But they often it's better to just have them 100% chip on the horse and have good movement. But there will be times later in the playthrough where I dismount a horse so that they do something.
Oh, strength levels on both Marth. Well, I mean, Marth is often going to be walking to the throne, so it's not like he's going to be the one who actually, like, does the boss kills. Also, point of strength on Jagan, I noticed, on that level.
Yes. Marth does some combat, but most of the combat he does is, like, rapier effective combat.
Yeah, of course.
Where, like, his strength matters a little, but not that much. Who do I feed this thief kill to? If I give it to Barst, I'm gonna be mad at myself.
These and FE3 are such pathetic enemy types all the time.
I think it's funny that Gordon's sprite has a helmet, but like calves don't.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Oh, I did. I did give it to Barst.
There we go.
Like I said, I was on some Barst copium in this chapter. I think he's undeployed in the next one.
Oh no! Immediate recognition. That's too good.
Because I remember trying him for, I think in the next chapter, I tried him for the first couple, like, attempts. And then I was like, wait, I just need to do, like, 3 damage reliably to a thing. Yeah, see, this is why I don't use javelins that often.
Oh god, 73 hit.
Yeah.
On 1 RN as well. Sad. Really sad.
But I used Barst a couple times, then I was like, wait, literally Gordon does it better.
Oh, that's a funny
So
sentence.
he either goes undeployed or he's like deployed but does nothing. I'm pretty
How
sure.
come you decide to give that kill to Abel just now instead of like Cedar? Because I would feel like Cedar would be
I
like
don't
the
know.
more useful.
I don't know why I didn't give either of those to Sita. Insane decision making. Well, I know why I gave the Barst kill.
Yeah, I know he gave the boss kill.
Yeah, but also insane decision making.
I mean, I guess it's fine, because in this case it clearly worked out. So, like, she's always going to get a kill anyway.
Yeah, but she could have got 8 more experience, I think.
Yeah, yeah, she could have gotten 8 more experience from the thief.
That was also a slight, if I attacked from the right, Agmo would have got the support bonus.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
But yep, that's chapter 2 done in 4 turns. ETC of 4.6. Total run.
10k gold! 10k gold!
Yes, we get our money. Alright, let me pull up chapter 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one where we are mostly going to be talking about new units.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of 100% hit rates in FE3.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that, like, until, like, it's probably gonna be a bit annoying, like, doing the boss kills up until you get the light sphere. Wait. Yeah, the light sphere. But after that, like, it's really free.
I would say basically chapter 7 is the first, like... is the first chapter where there's, like, more than a couple points of unreliability.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're on to chapter 3 here. And
You
this is
said,
gonna
you
be...
said undeployed. You said undeployed boss. I see boss deployed.
No, I was thinking this was chapter 4. So he is deployed. I'm pretty sure he does nothing on this map, though. He might like fight some rando to the right. But is another pretty straightforward one. All of the hit rates on enemies are going to be at 100%. And it's pretty much just calves go left and kill everything, and then fight the boss. Jagan gets to fight the boss this time. It doesn't even really matter if Sita would be more reliable, because Sita has responsibilities on the right side of the map.
Full recruitment moment. Full recruitment moment.
Yes, she needs to recruit Navarre for us. Although I'm wondering if, like, it might be worth recruiting Navarre anyway. Not because he needs to do anything super important. But I use that killing edge a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Actually, to be fair, LTC, like strict LTC, wouldn't care, because since the enemies have no luck and therefore no crit avoid, it means that, like, you wouldn't care about the killing edge because you always have at least one display crit.
Well, the thing that it's used for isn't even the critting. It just has high damage on high accuracy. It has the same accuracy as the Iron Sword, but I think 3 more might.
Oh, that's cool. That's a big difference, actually. Yeah, you're right.
I have to check exactly how much might that is. I'll put it on screen, but it's like notably more might. The new units we have to talk about here. We get Julian. Julian's a thief. He will do thief things sometimes.
Sometimes, only sometimes.
Pretty infrequently, to be honest. We do 2 thief things in this entire video, and Julian will be doing neither of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure that you've shown me the clear.
Yeah,
where, like...
Sida does one of them. Navarre is like the swordsman that we're gonna get. Is just kind of worse Agma. He has worse strength, skill, and speed, which is surprising to me. You'd think he would be better at, like, one of those 3.
Yeah, you really would. I mean, at least he obviously has the weapon level needed in order to actually use the killing edge.
I was going to say that's the one edge he has. The killing edge is good, and he can use it at base. But like I was saying earlier, Agma's weapon level growth is 70%. And he only needs to hit 1. The best unit, though, is Lena, who is our first warper.
Lena, it's Danny hours.
It is. So Lena comes with warp. Warp is really good in this game. It has infinite range. It's a little worse than, like, I feel like if people are, like, familiar with Shadow Dragon, it's gonna feel a little bit worse here because you can't Hermern it.
Yep.
And I believe in Shadow Dragon there are 3. In this game there's 2.
There's 2, yeah. There's 2 in FE3, I remember.
And we're not going to get the second one for a while, so we are going to be using it to skip maps. But we're going to have to play some maps, honestly. It also has 7 uses, which feels like a lot, but, like, most of the skips, to be if you want to do them reliably, most of the skips take 2 warps.
Yes.
Because you need to warp your boss killer and then Marth. Yeah. I will say one thing, to be fair to Navarre. He, what's the word I'm looking for? He does actually see some combat.
Woo, contribution!
Which, by the way, this is a, an Agma moment where if Marth doesn't get that kill, Agma does.
Is it I mean, does the experience on Ogma matter? Like, would it have been better if he just gotten that kill anyway?
It might have. I think there are a few times where I'm inefficient with, like, experience distribution. Because, I don't know, Agma hasn't leveled yet, right?
No, he hasn't.
He does, I do want him to get 1 weapon level so that he can use the killing edge. Which he will, eventually. I don't think I end up putting it on him for a minute, because I don't think I realize right away that he just needs 1 weapon level. But yes, it probably would have been better to give Agma that kill, because Marth hasn't done, like... you're gonna see in this video, Marth isn't gonna do that much difficult combat. The combat that he does do is mostly just gonna be carried by the rapier and not his stats anyway.
Yeah.
And the Sida support. It is nice, because Marth... I don't know why Marth only has 6 skill.
I mean, it makes sense from, like, a character perspective, right? Like, he's meant to be, like, this really inexperienced prince, but it does feel bad, right?
Yeah, he's like a rapier lord, you know? Also, I lied last chapter. This is the chapter where we get the 10k gold.
I was thinking, I was like, wait, we didn't actually see the, oh yeah, here, have this money message.
The village on this map gives a devil axe. It is skipped. We don't need it. So initially I was thinking, like...
You're telling me that you don't want the devil axe in your reliability-focused ETC run?
Well, so initially I was very, like Shadow Dragon brained. Because I looked at the might, and the might on that thing is crazy. I think it has 30 might. Or no, 20 might, not 30. 30 would be insane.
Yeah, not 30.
It has 20 might, which is a lot. And initially I was thinking, like, I wonder if I get the Devil Axe, if that's gonna, like, make a boss kill for Minerva possible or something. And then I was like, wait, I'm being Shadow Dragon Rained. She can't use that.
Yeah, she can't use axes here.
So that we just didn't get it.
Yeah, and it's also not like the, what I understand of the DSFE versions where it's high hit either.
No, it is not.
Like, as a weapon, so, yeah.
And by the way, Jagan needs to hit 2 of 3 here for a 76% success rate for him killing the boss in time. And he's going to do that, obviously, which is going to give us an ETC of 5.848, an actual turn count of 5, and a total turn count of 14.
The moment of deliberation being like, what should I do with Cain and Abel?
Well, I had to check, because I'm pretty sure, like, they're either at risk of dying or close to at risk of dying if, like, all of them get hit. So I'm sure that's what I was deliberating about.
Yeah.
Is just trying to position them to where the right amount of brigands attack them. Oh, something to note. In Shadow Dragon, you really love that Abel comes with a javelin. Here it's like a little bit annoying. Because it means one of them has to be stuck on the javelin instead of the iron lance.
Yeah.
Although I guess it is ultimately a good thing, because the javelin is hypothetically used if Gordon misses his 99% in chapter 1. So that javelin does actually contribute to
the reliability, yeah.
I mean, he could also, I have to check, he could also dismount and use the iron sword for that, but I think if he dismounts, he can't get where he needs to go next turn. But I'd have to check. I think the javelin, it does technically contribute to the reliability, though.
Yeah, plus later on you're actually going to be able to go shopping a bit, right?
Yeah,
right?
Next chapter we go shopping. We also get, like, a bunch of iron lances next chapter. Yep, there's our level up, strength weapon level.
Let's go.
And that weapon level up absolutely does matter. He will be using the Killing Edge once I eventually realize that he's allowed to. And now...
If Abel had dismounted, would he have been able to double and kill that enemy?
Where was it full health?
I don't think so, because it was chipped down by
I'd have to look, because they don't kill dismounted from full health.
Yeah, I know they don't do that.
This was not a worthwhile use.
I was thinking, this doesn't seem like a point where it actually would be useful.
I feel like once I, like, figure out the clear of the run, and I'm like, okay, Marth can seize now. I'm like, all right, great, nothing else matters. But it does.
Would you be short of like 1 killing edge usage or something?
I think that is gonna happen with Excalibur.
Yeah.
I think I've been using it a little too liberally. But you'll get to see what I mean shortly.
Excalibur real good, and then it breaks, and you cry for Merrick.
Can you still see my screen?
Yes, I can still see the screen.
Oh, okay, cool. The last few times I've had to, like, reset it. So, this is chapter 4. And this is actually going to be, like, certainly the most complex map so far. Yeah, this is where Barst gets undeployed for an archer.
Yeah. 8.
This is an interesting map, where... Notably, this is the first time, like, warp skips are on the table.
Yeah.
But there are 2 reasons why this is not a warp skip map. One
Wendell.
is that Marth... Oh, no, there is no Wendell.
Oh, there. Oh my God! Yeah, there's no Wendell here.
Yeah, there's no Wendell. But Merrick is in a village way up to the north. So Marth has to go up and get him. Although, notably, I don't think this would be a warp skip anyway, because there's not, like, a super reliable boss killer. As you're gonna see, the boss is in armor using a Rider's Bane.
Yeah, that's an issue.
So Jagan doesn't do great killing it, and he's also surrounded by a bunch of enemies. So, like...
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in probably if you were rigging it, you could this if you wanted. But
if you were rigging it, I think definitely. But I haven't actually watched a LTC of book 1. I've watched the LTC of book 2.
I'm like assuming that the enemies don't have 100% hit. I highly doubt they do.
I highly doubt they do.
So you could warp this if you were rigging, but we're not.
Oh, another strength level on Cedar.
Yeah, good level up for Cedar.
Yeah, 2 points of
she
strength.
did get some crits, so you're gonna see me,
Nice.
like, move some units to some weird places to represent where they would go if Cedar didn't crit.
Yeah, I forgot that Wendell isn't, like, here in this.
This is what Gordon is here
game.
for. He doesn't quite have 100% hit, but this is what he's here for.
Yo.
But this is kind of what I was saying when I was like, Gordon has lower skill than you would expect. Because if his skill weren't, like, I think it's 5 or 6, then that combat would look a lot better.
Yeah. Was that worth use of the killing edge, do you think?
I don't think he killed on an iron, but I'd have to go check.
Gotcha.
Also, I don't know if I gave him an iron in preps.
He had another weapon in his inventory then.
Okay, then I must have given him an iron. Positioning Marth here, where he would have hit a guy, because he can hit one of them and not lose any time on his way to the village. So we can also talk about some of the new units here, because we get some good ones. Well, we get a good one.
You get a good one.
Well, and some, like, okay ones.
Yeah, you do.
Hardin is the man of the hour here.
Yep.
Well, actually, we get 2 good units, but we only get 1 on this side of the map. Hardin is an unpromoted cavalier with higher strength and the same base speed as Jagan.
Yep.
And him being unpromoted actually matters here. Hardin gets to be our boss killer because when you dismount, paladins lose 3 speed. Cavaliers don't. So Hardin can double the boss when he's dismounted, but Jagan can't.
Yeah, it's because, like, the promotion bonuses for like mounted units is applied to when they're mounted specifically.
Yep. Some other units we get here, we get Rocher, who is actually, like, roughly as good as Cain and Abel. Like, he's a little worse, but, like, pretty close stat-wise.
Yeah, he is pretty close to them stat-wise. It's just that usually in, like, a more standard run, you have, like, Cain and Abel do a lot more of the killing than they do here.
Yeah.
Meaning that, obviously, like, because of how experience works in this game, they tend to already be, like, ahead of him and leveled by quite a bit, actually.
Yes. Although I think Abel's, like, level 3. I think Cain might still be level 1. By the way, if you're wondering why animations are on so that I can look back at the videos and calculate the ETs.
Yeah, otherwise you just can't see what the stats of the combats are.
Yeah. So that dude that just had some dialogue that attacked our horseman, he's a recruitable character. Or not our horseman, our cavalier. Horseman's different. That's a recruitable character. He sucks. But
yeah, Mathis is one of the units of all time.
But we're gonna recruit him.
After all, this is a full recruitment run, so it's in the rule set.
Kane hits his,
Kane
yeah, Kane was level 1, now he's level 2. So Rocher is actually very similar to them.
Yeah. I guess
here we do a little bit of a trade chain. Or no, we don't, he just has the silver.
It's like, if you'd actually, did actually, care about promoting someone who wasn't, Paladin, then it would just make... Oh, nice crit. It would just make Rocher better.
Here. He does not need to crit. He needs to... He actually has so much time, because Marth isn't even to Merrick yet, to kill this boss.
Yeah,
he needs to hit, 3 attacks out of 8.
Pretty good success rate on that, I'd say. Probably.
Yeah, 99.2.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
A notable droppable there. We get that boss's Rider's Bane.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to use almost all of it in Chapter 7.
Oh god, yeah, I can see it for sure. And I see Lena's very slowly starting to make her way over to Mathis for recruiting him.
Yep. Mathis is an idiot, so if we leave Lena here, he'll be like, "Where's Lena? I want to see her one more time," and he'll go hit her.
Yeah.
Which is convenient for us, because he'll just come over and she'll recruit him, because he can't one-shot her.
And there's Merrick. Are you just moving people for the sake of moving them now?
Well, those ones were to indicate that Agma didn't need to crit.
Gotcha.
Although in hindsight, it probably should have been Gordon attack and then Agma, because I did want that kill to go to Agma.
Yeah.
But the enemy dies regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I trade an iron here, both for accuracy and to not use the use of the silver lance.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was another significant unit, and there's Mathis doing his thing. Yep.
Oh, we have to talk about Merrick.
Yeah, I was gonna be oh yeah, after Ogma, who's the next good boss killer, whatever. But it was well, Merrick is here. So.
Yeah, Merrick's actually one of my favorite units in Arcanea, and he's actually a bit better in this game than he is in Shadow Dragon. I forget if what I'm about to say is true in FE1 or not. But here, he's Excalibur Tome is actually a PRF. In Shadow Dragon, Wendell can use it too.
Oh yeah, I know he can use it in Shadow Dragon.
Or I think the way it works in Shadow Dragon is it's an E rank tome for Merrick, and a B or A rank tome for male sages. I think.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Or male magic users.
And then it's similar, but for women, for Aura, that Lind can use at base.
Practically, this just means Wendell can also use it.
Yeah.
But Excalibur's a really good tome. It's very accurate. It has crit. It has good might. And the fact that it has crit is actually going to be relevant. We are going to rely on a crit from Merrick, I believe, on the next map.
You deciding whether or not you're going to have Castor, or is this Sedgar? Sedgar. I actually have the bows was funny.
Yeah, I mean, Sedgar and Wolf, Castor, I believe, he might just be done after this map. Wolf and Sedgar do just kind of replace Gordon and Castor for my bow needs.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm using Excalibur here because those attacks actually are relevant to the clear because I want to level him. It's relevant that that kill specifically goes to Merrick.
Someone else not have just set it up better and then he killed with... Because he also has thunder in his inventory, right?
Yeah, but it's not 100% hit.
Gotcha.
But you're gonna see me be a little liberal with this Excalibur tome. Which I suspect is going to bite me later. Because Merrick is still okay without Excalibur. But it is a notable downgrade when he doesn't have it anymore.
In my playthrough, I didn't actually use him, so I didn't use him past a certain point, so eventually I just ended up selling the Excalibur for money. Armor Slayer's nice as well, that you just got.
Yes, the Armor Slayer is nice. I don't think it's going to see major use until Chapter 7.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be 2 armor bosses before then, but Merrick kills both of them. But yeah, so at the end of this map, the ETC is 7.213. The actual turn count is 7, and the total turn count is 21. And up to this point, I believe the clear is still at LTC pace, because I don't think LTC is that either.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't strike me as the kind of map that...
Well, I think it could be if they didn't get Merrick, but LTC actually uses Merrick.
Yeah.
Or at least the one that, like, I've been watching chapters of an LTC after I finished my clears. To see what they did. And the one I'm watching actually uses Merrick.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, Excalibur's a very good weapon to have.
Yes, and we'll be using it here. This is going to be our first warp skip of the run. In hindsight, and I'll get into the reasons for this later, I actually don't think I should have warped this map. But you're going to get to see some fun, like, FE3 trade shenanigans here. Yep.
And also, Sita got to do a thief thing.
Yes. Sita opens the door instead of Julian, because Julian needs to talk to Rickard. And then Merrick is going to go recruit Wendell, who is here instead of in Chapter 4.
Now he's here.
And Wendell's pretty good. He can use warp at base, and he's fast enough to double some enemies. So he's pretty good.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me at one point being like, Wendell's the only unit that's like undeniably good in like 4 games.
So we warp Marth over here. He's just gonna go seize. And then we do a little, because we can have one unit trade twice. We have Sita pass the warp over to Wendell, who is going to warp Merrick.
I guess it didn't have to be like a Fraser trade moment.
No, it didn't.
People could obviously just trade it off it anyway.
Yeah.
Excalibur!
A crit is needed here. There's a 33% chance of crit on a 100% chance of hit. So the chance of success is 55.1. Notably, this map could be one-turned had Wendell joined in the previous chapter.
Alas.
But since we have to get him out of prison, it has to be 2-turned, which means we get to get this chest, which unfortunately just has money in it.
Would it have taken any extra turns to have recruited Wendell on the previous map? Probably not, right? Because like you're walking him over there for a long time. Gotcha.
Right, like you would just keep... Well, I don't know. I would have to look at it. Like, either Marth would do it on the way to Merrick, or Merrick would do it if Marth has recruited Merrick by the time that happens. I'd have to look at like how he's positioned on that map in Shadow Dragon.
I guess it depends on, as well as in terms of like how important the experience that Merrick got would actually have been to like the clears later on, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, if like the level and the stats he got from it mattered in this setting, then it would actually be important.
Yeah. So this is a fun one. This is another warp, but I think this one's kind of fun. This is also the first map of the clear where everything is guaranteed, so the ETC is going to be exactly the same as the turn count. Oh, by the way, the ETC of the last map was 3.629, actual turn count was 2, and the total turn count for the run is 23. But this is the first map where we actually had to manipulate the deployment order to get some fairly specific unit positions. For Lena, Merrick,
Yes.
And specifically like the opposite for Wendell. I wanted Wendell to start far away because he doesn't have to do anything until turn 2. But like Lena needed to start nearby. I wanted Julian to start like as far away as he could while still opening the door.
Yep.
So Julian does do thief things in this video. He's gonna open a door.
Yo, go Julian!
So we're gonna recruit a new unit this chapter. We're gonna go down to this village and get Bantu. Bantu is never going to attack because the only weapon he can use is the Dragon Stun, which you get out of a village that I did not go to in chapter 4.
That's a very good reason why you can't use them. I mean, even if like you could actually use him, would you? Like he only hits once because you can't double with the.
So what I think I'll be interested to see. Maybe when I get to this chapter, it will make sense to me. But when I was looking at the commentary on the LTC I was watching after I did this map, they mentioned that Bantu can be used for tanking in a later map. And I'll be interested to see if, like, when I get to that map, if I can figure out why.
I mean, it's strange, because, like, if you're thinking about, like, strict LTC, I personally don't value the role of tanking, because, like, it is, like, the hit is less than 100. You can make it miss, basically, is how my mind goes with that. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah, well, and that's also a 0% LTC, so I suspect that, like, it might not be relevant to me. I'll probably have a unit that's tankier.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's tricky about this is specifically going to be on turn 2. There are a lot of Pegasus and Draco Knights, and few units that can take a hit. So there's 3, essentially, that are going to be in range to attack. And there are a few units that can take a hit from all 3.
Yes.
So you have to position in such a way that that doesn't happen.
Body blocking was...
Yeah, you do some body blocking. One thing that I realized I could have done, but I don't do it in this clear, but could have done. The AI really likes to attack clerics when they can.
Yeah.
And Lena can actually survive the hit from the Draco Knight. So you can position Lena where she can get hit by the Draco Knight, but not anything else. And that gets you there. But you're gonna see me form a bit of a human shield around Marth, so that Marth does not get walloped by a bunch of flyers. You may have noticed there's more than 3 flyers here. That's because the White Wings are here, but they're going to leave.
Also Minerva's here as well. Don't forget about her.
Yes, and Minerva's here, but they're gonna leave. And not attack us, so that's fine.
How would it have well, I mean, obviously, like, this isn't, like, the case with the actual game, but how much would it have complicated things if they didn't go away?
It would have been a nightmare. Dealing with the 3 of them was kind of annoying. Like, it took me a while to figure out, like, how to position to where it was okay that there's 3 of them. If there were 6, ugh. The LTC of this map, so I'm going to warp this map at the end of turn 2, but the LTC of this map only uses 1 warp. This clear would not be suitable for this setting, but it's kind of neat. They rush Harden down the left side with a javelin.
Oh. And
then you warp Marth, and I believe Marth crits with the rapier, and then Harden, like, on his last space of movement, crits with a javelin.
That's really neat. I like that, actually.
But much too unreliable in this setting.
Oh no, definitely too unreliable. But really cool.
Really cool, and it saves you a warp. So we are going to warp this, but we're going to have to use 2. Merrick. So this is another one, probably superfluous uses of Excalibur. If I put him on the right side, he only has to... So I put him on the left so that he would fight these knights and get some experience.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to do that. He could have just stayed on the right and not had that be a problem.
Yeah, it definitely makes things simpler that, like, you're not, like, factoring in people's growths when you're doing all the calculations for the ECC, because my understanding is that it makes a complete nightmare.
Yes, it does make it a nightmare. So that's why the goal has just been to, like, not worry about the growths and get the best turn counts reliably that I can with whatever I have when the map starts, you know?
Yeah. And there's Minerva and the White Wings going away.
Yep, so they're gonna go away. Merrick's gonna get a strength level up.
Yeah, him getting strength is quite nice.
Sita almost dies, but she doesn't.
Woo.
Although you're gonna see me almost forget that she's almost dead.
She's
not going to. She's not going to. But she's like, you're gonna see me think about it.
Oh, so... Okay, another strength level. Dang. That's actually pretty good for him, because it means that, like, when Excalibur does break, because clearly you're using it pretty liberally, like, he might actually be able to kill more things.
Yes, although I make a shopping error, in, I believe, the next chapter, that's going to make that a little harder for a while.
Rip.
And by shopping error, I mean, I forget to go shopping.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, it was either going to be, like, you forgot to go shopping, or you forgot to buy, like, any kind of tome,
No,
right?
I leave a unit down where the shops are, specifically to go shopping, and then I didn't go shopping.
Rip. Oh, that's sad.
But yeah, so I did notice in this that I did not notice when I did my calculations. I believe I made a 99% attack in this clear. So I'm going to have to recalculate the ETC, and I will put that on screen. Because I thought I only made hundreds in this map, but it looked like I made a 99. So the turn count's going to be very close to 3.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very close still.
But it should be slightly higher than 3. The actual turn count is 3, and the total turn count is 24. So at this point, technically still on LTC pace, although we're not going to be soon, because we have now used 1 more warp than LTC.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, that definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, the next map, we're not going to warp. But I think probably I would have to come up with a new strategy for Chapter 5 and see how efficient it would be, but I suspect that the next map would have been a better one than Chapter 5. For reasons that I'll explain once we're on that map. So yeah, that was me thinking about attacking with Zeta. And then finally deciding that I'm just going to leave the Draco Knight alone.
Yeah, I think that was a
might attack. Does
decision.
Agma attack? Yeah, he does.
Me, even if I crit twice, I wouldn't kill.
Agma, I will say, one of the things I didn't realize about Agma, he's kind of got a bit of a noodle arm.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that bad, but I feel like he's, like, weaker than people think.
To be fair, it's FE3. I feel like people don't
That's
really have
true.
that many
people.
thoughts on FE3.
I don't think people think anything about this game, to be honest. Alright, let's pull out Chapter 7. And that's going to be the last one for today's video. This map sucked.
Yep. Oh god, this map. Yeah. You remember me playing, like, this map in FE1 and then, like, not playing the next chapter for, like, 2 weeks or something?
I will say, though, I did get a little more respect for this chapter from this run. Because I would have said previously that this is, like, my least favorite chapter in FE1, because you just kind of have to hold the choke point. But you can do it reliably faster than I thought. And it was kind of fun figuring it out. Also frustrating, but kind of fun. So this is like the first like tricky map of the run. It is warpable. Even on turn 1, you could warp it.
Yeah.
It takes 2 warps. You'd have to warp Merrick, then do a trade chain, and then warp Marth. You could also just warp Marth, and he has about a 10% chance of killing the boss by turn 3. And if he doesn't, he dies. But so the ETC for that is like 10 turns, if I remember correctly. And we're gonna do a little better than that without warping.
Yeah, I mean, a 10% chance of being able to kill the boss by turn 3 would have that effect on your ETC.
Although, when I was looking at this map at first, I thought that like, might end up not being that much worse than the non-warp ETC, because there is a lot of combat on this map. And it took me a while to figure out how to make it reliable, because like my first clear of this map like was a 7 turn, but the ETC was like 19.
Oof.
But it was made a lot better by Merrick Gaming, which I'll discuss later. We get 2 new units here. They both suck.
Yeah, they both suck real bad.
We get Rad and Caesar. I leave Rad here to go shopping, but you're going to notice I do not go shopping. So that was a mistake. We could have bought a more. We could have bought a more accurate tome both for Merrick and for Wendell, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what you would have bought.
I have to like check that that's actually true. I don't actually know what's in that shop because I didn't go to it. But I assume there's tomes there.
Yeah, there are tomes there. There are tomes there. I distinctly remember there being tomes there.
So Marth, at first, I thought him starting far away was, like, really annoying. But it's actually a blessing. Because if Marth started up here, and you wanted to, like, get to the throne as fast as possible, you would have to charge through this choke point. And it would be really annoying. But since Marth starts, like, 2 turns away, we get to sucker the enemies in a bit. While still moving Marth at a pace where he can get to the throne in the shortest amount of turns possible. Here we use Jagan with a Rider's Bane. You're gonna notice that the enemies, he's gonna fight 5 calves. He can take exactly 5 hits. However, he cannot get crit, and they have 1% crit chance on him.
Oh, yeah.
They only have 80% hit, so like the chance of success is still pretty good. The chance of him getting crit by at least one of the 5 is only 3.9%. So, not 0, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Most of the combat... I'm also going to make a save state here, I believe. Because the first 2 turns of this map are actually just walking up here, and it's really annoying.
It sounds annoying, yeah.
So
there we go.
I made the state here. Most of the combat is going to happen on the next couple of turns.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Cena's going to attack this horseman first, because Marth is going to kill this cav with the rapier, and he needs the support bonus to do it at 100% accuracy. Merrick needs to either hit 299s or crit here. Chad Ogma here does not need any accuracy, although I did not need to use the killing here. That was a bit of a mistake. Because he has the CETA bonus, so he doesn't need the extra accuracy from it.
Of course, of course.
Now we do have a few sub 100 hits that need to hit here. Harden needs to hit a 94. Abel is going to have to hit a 92 because he's going to have to use the Steel Lance.
Half of my brain always just goes to like the Steel Lance from Epi 6 in terms of like how much of a meme it is in terms of hit. And I'm like, wait, actually, it's not that bad in this game.
And it is minus 10 hit here, so I do try to avoid using it. Like, I could use it here if Kane uses the Steel Lance. He can kill this horseman this turn, or if he uses the Silver Lance for that matter. But I use the Silver Lance, and I'm not sure that would have been 100% accurate. Because I didn't even check, because I just didn't want to use it. Using the iron, this horseman dies next turn. But there's really nothing the horseman can do that's problematic for me. He's just going to shoot Abel. We'll have crit on him, but even if he crits, Abel lives, and Abel isn't going to face an attack for the rest of the map, so
it's all fine. It's all cool.
But this is the diciest turn. This turn, in its entirety, has an 85.3% chance of success, which is the least reliable turn in the run so far, outside of the one where Merrick needs to crit.
The immense choke point is real.
Yeah. So the tricky thing about this was that on this turn, all three of those guys in the bottom row need to die.
Yeah.
And because Marth needs to move. So we need to clear some space for him. To that end, Wendell needs to hit one of 2 94s here.
Yep.
And everything else on this turn, I believe, is a 100% hit. Except I might do some funny attacks on 2 knights that don't matter at the end. Because the important kills here are the 4 archers need to die.
Yes.
And I believe the rightmost knight needs to die. The 2 on the left are like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if that knight on the right needs to die. I could probably think of a way for it to be okay, for him to be alive.
I can definitely see why the archers. I can definitely see why the archers need to die. But why did you think that the
I don't know.
rightmost armor knight had to die?
Let's see if I can figure out why I think that knight needs to die. Let's watch together and see if we can figure out why I was worried about that knight. Because they don't do 10 damage to Jagan. Is it Abel? Do I put Abel where he would get hit by? Yeah, Abel fights an archer. So the knight either needs to die or not be in range to hit him, because otherwise there's a chance of failure if Abel gets crit the previous turn.
Mm-hmm.
Harden awkwardly doesn't have a lance here. or was it Harden that didn't have a lance? Someone didn't have a lance. So I trade them one. Merrick also needs to move forward a little bit. He's going to be our boss killer. And he's going to take this knight out for us. Initially on this map, this is another blessing of Marth starting far away. I was thinking that Harden was going to have to be the boss killer.
Mm-hmm.
Which would have not been great. Just because he's not super accurate. Like, he can do it. But the other problem is this is the first boss that, like, kind of has hands. And can kill Harden in 2 attacks. So it's like Harden needs to hit, depending on whether Jagan is there or not to contribute, either 2 of 2 or 3 of 3.
Does he have crit? Does the boss have crit on Harden? Because I remember Harden not having, like, exceptional luck.
I don't remember if the boss has crit on him. But then I realized that since Marth starts so far away, it doesn't really matter that Hardin can get to the boss before Merrick, because Merrick can get to the boss before Marth has time to seize. So
Yeah.
yeah, and these night combats are whatever. They don't matter.
I suppose, like, in, like, a setting where you would be trying to, like, absolutely maximize the possibility of killing the boss, Hardin might end up, like, still going towards the boss anyway, just because, like, it would technically add to the overall chance of success of killing the boss in the amount of time needed.
Yeah, if there was something that could potentially hold Merrick up.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure there is. Well, actually, I mean, maybe on turn 3, which had like the 85% chance of success, there might be. But yeah, Merrick has 100% accuracy. So the boss kill, once Merrick gets there, is reliable. Which, by the way, I didn't realize this at first, but those little like castle terrains next to the boss do have a movement cost associated with it. Yeah, Merrick crits, but he doesn't need to. And then Marth seizes for an ETC of 7.66, an actual turn count of 7, and a total turn count of 31. The reason I think that I probably should have warped that map instead of Chapter 5 is that this map would not have relied on a Merrick crit. So for that one...
Oh, I see.
I reduced the ETC from, like, I'm guessing between 7 and 9 to like 3.3 or whatever. Whereas here we would have reduced the ETC from 7.6 to 1.
Yes.
To confirm that, I do need to like go replay 5 and like see what the ETC is if I don't warp. But the ETC would have to be like 9 or 10 for that to be a better warp than this map. And notably, if you don't warp that map, like all things being equal turn count wise, if you don't warp that map, you get to get some treasure.
Yeah. For the 100% reliable kill just now on the boss, did that rely on Merrick getting both of those strength level ups that he got along the way?
Let's find out.
Okay, so...
Want the thing to
okay, so 15 attack, 15 attack, 0 defense. And so he needed to get 1 strength level along the way, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think he needed 1. But that's part of why I didn't want to do the, I don't even know if you can do, like, how you would do it. Like keeping track of the efficiency over the entire run. And then it also introduces some weirdness where, like, you try to, like, have your level ups happen on turn 1. Because resets on turn 1 are penalized less hard than resets later in the map.
Yeah.
So it seemed easier just to not do that. But yes, if you wanted to, like, calculate the efficiency of the entire run, then these level ups absolutely matter.
Yeah, I mean, ETC in general requires obviously a lot more calculation than LTC, due to the fact that you're, you know, factoring the reliability in at all. But also just like these additional things of like, there's a lot of extra things you can calculate to add wrinkles to your math as well.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm using like a pretty simplified formula here. Like, I know there's other ones where it's like they take the average turn of completion, they calculate that and then that's factored in, right? So like, for me, I'm saying like, to simplify the math for me, for example, on the first boss kill, I was like, Sita needs to hit 5 of 6. And there's like a few assumptions I'm making there. 1, I'm assuming she never crits.
Yes.
2, I'm assuming the boss hits her. And 3, I'm assuming that, like, if she doesn't kill him on, like, the turn Marth concedes, that we're resetting. rather than just playing another turn and seizing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of interesting math going into it that seems complicated and beyond the scope of what I wanted to do. But it is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I mean, it's not like I should be one to talk about reliability math when, you know, 100% growths, rigged weapon hit and crit LTCs are my thing.
No, but I totally get the appeal of that. Because there are so many times, where it's like, man, what if you just crit? Or like when I was doing the merit clear, I mean, you were in the call when I was doing that, and it took like, that chapter 5 clear.
Yeah.
It had like a 55% chance of success. And
Didn't
I think
you
I
do,
had to
like,
do it 7 times before Merrick got
like
the crit.
7 times. I remember that. You were like, wait, this is a 55% chance of success. Why have I been here so long?
So I get the appeal of rigging, because I'm like, okay, we're waiting for the crit. Like, it would be fine if I just rigged it. But yeah. So thank you for coming on. When I was recording this on my own, I was like, I had like 3 minutes of things to say about the maps, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'll just be quiet while the rest of the map plays. So thank you for coming on. I hope it made this a little more entertaining.
You're very welcome.
After finishing doing this commentary with Akira, I realized there is definitely a way to make Chapter 7 more reliable and also get my shopping done. And then I checked and found I did have a save state with Chapter 7 still there, so the next video is probably going to start with a better clear of Chapter 7. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you see a way the clears could be made more efficient, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you want to see the next video, make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next upload, and big thank you to my patrons, Acrobatic Jazz, Danny Doyle, and Helix. Your support means a lot to me. If you want to support the channel and be in these credit sequences, you'll find the link to the Patreon in the description. And if you want to keep up with this run as it happens in real time, or just talk about Fire Emblem, consider joining the community Discord. There's a link in the description. But regardless, hope you have a lovely week, and thanks for stopping by.